What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here for a late night Tottenham update. And it's, you know it, another day in paradise following Tottenham Hotspur. I'm here with Brian Daigle. And you know what? There was an update from a random Instagram account, random like Spurs aggregated Instagram account saying Dominic Solanke's injured and he's going to be out for the next 6 weeks. And I was like, there's no concrete news. I didn't believe it. I was like, basically, I just thought they were trying to have us on. Then all of a sudden, an hour later, Paul O'Keefe, he comes in and he says, one normal day, that's all I asked for. Dom Solanke is injured, timescale to be confirmed, knee injury of some description. And now he's had more injuries in the last 6 months than he's had in the previous 2 years at Bournemouth. So classic Tottenham. Like, where are these injuries just popping out from? Literally out of nowhere. A knee injury to Dom Solanke. If we want to believe the first report that reported it, he's saying 6 weeks. We haven't got that confirmed yet. So that will come in the coming days, I guess. But definitely out for tomorrow, which is a massive kick in the teeth. You look at, we've got Richarlison luckily coming back from injury right now, but we're going to have to overplay him now. We've got a game on Thursday. We've got a game tomorrow. And we know the last time we brought Richarlison back, we tried to be careful with him that time. We took 2 weeks to bring him back once he was fit, and he got injured after 2 minutes of coming off the subs bench. So we just got to touch wood, pray that he doesn't get injured tomorrow. But the reality is that Dom Solanke is injured for the foreseeable at the moment.
Yep, I mean, I first of all, big up to you, Ben, brother. I will say, I know the kids' song "Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes." You can literally do that for our injuries at the moment. It's getting ridiculous, and exactly what you said, Ben. Exactly what you said. A load of pressure is now on Richarlison to be able to lead the line.
Just stay fit. Just stay fit. There's a load of pressure just to stay fit.
Exactly. Let's face it, his track record of doing that isn't the best, unfortunately. But this is a huge blow. A huge blow. I blame myself, actually. I went to have a Saturday afternoon nap because it's quite cold here in Toronto. I thought, let's get into the car. Everything was fine. I woke up, and this is what I woke up to. So I'm going to take one for the team. But this is honestly, when we've needed reinforcements in key areas anyway, this now is just a huge blow. A huge blow. Because one thing, Richarlison is a great presser, just like Solanke. On his day, can bag goals. He bagged a brace at Everton last season. The one thing that he hasn't got, which Solanke excels in my opinion, is that hold-up play and bringing other players and dragging the ball from our halfway, not like he's been doing consistently. But you have to look at this from a Tottenham Hotspur point now and say it's another player that is literally. We've been talking about how Kulusevski's been exhausted and how others. Solanke recently has just been non-stop, and there's been more Lancashire available. Maybe if he'd played against Tamworth, that might have given him the rest for his body to restore. But this is a massive blow, isn't it?
It is. Look, there's no getting around it. It really is. And I was saying in the build-up to the game with Sim on the previews and a few days beforehand, we cannot keep playing Kulusevski because we're running him into the ground. He's a shadow. He's a shadow. In the last 6 games, he's been a shadow of his former self, what he's shown this season. Don't get me wrong, player of the season for us so far, he's been brilliant. But we're running him into the ground. He's clearly running on empty. And I thought as well, Dom Solanke was going that way as well. I said last week, or I said a few days ago, that Kulusevski is an injury waiting to happen. But, Kulusevski Dom Solanke pretty much was in the same boat as him. So Solanke's injury has happened. Now it just confirms in my mind that we just need to take Kulusevski out of the firing line just a little bit, give him a bit of a rest. I know, and on top of this, by the way, we know that Yves Bissouma and Brennan Johnson were sore after the Arsenal game, and I'm not sure if they've been training or not. So, what kind of lineup are we going to have to play tomorrow? Surely Mikey Moore gets a go. In terms of the number 9 situation, Will Lancashire, he was, Ange was talking about him going out on loan. Surely that puts a stop to all of that now.
Yeah, well, first of all, like you said, Kulusevski, I don't think you can give him a rest now with Solanke out because he was one of the hardest workers, Solanke. I'd say him and Solanke probably for holding the ball, carrying the distance and everything. Them two are probably right at the top of our stats and do the most work
Yeah.
And now you take Solanke out, a lot more responsibility for that part of the job falls on Kulusevski. One of my friends, Johnny Evans, who I've sometimes streamed with, did a thing you said about the lineup. I'm just going to
Not
read
the
this
old
out.
Man U centre back.
No, not him, not him. We could soon be needing him, mate. Trust me. But he's gone. Listen, he's done it in this way. So he said Kinski in goal. Then he's gone Porro brackets knackered, Dragusin brackets knackered, Davies brackets just back, Spence Gray question mark because maybe he'll get moved to midfield, Bergvall Madison, Kulu knackered, Richie just back, Son knackered.
Mm.
So out of that 11, he's put 6 knackered or just back and 1 question mark. So that's 7 out of the 4 players where whether they're exhausted, just back, got back, or that's way over half the team. That's where we are.
But I do think there are ways, particularly tomorrow, how we can get around at least some of them. We talk about Porro being knackered. We've seen Reguilon come in the last couple of games and do well. So why not start Reguilon at left back, and why not start Spence in his natural position at right back? You know what I mean? There's no reason why we shouldn't do that. On top of that, these 2 guys are not in the European squad, so they can't play on Thursday. So this is needs must at the moment, right? This is needs must. So get Reguilon in at left back, get Spence in at right back. When you're looking at the forward line, you got Mikey Moore coming back at the moment, so he's going to have to play a significant part tomorrow. We don't know what's going on with Brennan Johnson, if he's fit enough to play, or if Bissouma if he's fit enough to play. But the ones that we do have options for, I don't want to see Porro playing tomorrow. You know, we're going to run these players into the ground, and they're ultimately going to get injured, like we're seeing with Dom Solanke now.
Well, I love your idea of the fullbacks. Actually, I hadn't thought of it that way, especially seeing that they both can't play in Europe. That's got to be the option, hasn't it? It's got to be the option. The interesting one for me is if he will move Gray into midfield. Because what we all want to see, we've seen what he's done in defence. And even if Bissouma was fit, I would rather see a Gray at 6, a Bergvall and a Madison. I'd rather Bissouma was out and get Davies back in. I think that would make us stronger because Bissouma's form has just not been good enough, has it?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Bissouma was horrific in the last game, but it all depends on if Ben Davies is fit enough to start the game, because we know he didn't make it for the Arsenal game. Is he fit enough actually to start the game? He wasn't even in the squad against Arsenal, so he wasn't even deemed fit enough to be on the bench. So is he going to be fit enough to start the game? That's a big question mark.
We are literally down to the bare bones. We are down to the bare bones. What is there now? About 2 weeks left of the window. I mean, if Solanke's out for a long time, I can't see us bringing in a number 9. I can't see us going and spending big on a striker again for obvious reasons. We are literally down to the bare bones. And Europe coming, important league games, mate. This needs to be addressed, and you have to look at this now and start saying these injuries. Like you said, Solanke 6 months ago hadn't been injured for 2 years. He's been here. There is definitely something not right. And I will say, listen, we all know it's picked up a lot with Ange, with the obvious hamstrings or whatever, but this has been a problem at Spurs for a long, long time. But I've never seen it like this. I've never seen it like this.
I felt like, Brian, that we had a problem anyway in terms of the medical team. But I also feel like Ange ain't doing the squad any favours in terms of overplaying too many players, where there have been options. Let's be honest. There has been options throughout the season where we could have given a Kulusevski a respite. We could have given, even a Dom Solanke a respite with Will Lancashire there. Will Lancashire played at Galatasaray, scored a goal, got sent off. We haven't seen him since, barely. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Reguilon's been there, sitting there as a training cone pretty much all season. And he could have been given respite to someone like Destiny Udogie. You had Spence there all season, only got a chance when the players got injured. He could have given respite to Porro all season. So we've had the options there. So I think Ange, as much as the medical team are probably, the ones most culpable in this, Ange has definitely got to take a lot of the flack in terms of his squad management this season.
Well, how many years, Ben, have I been coming on here and saying to you overpaid and undervalued? Overplayed, sorry, not overpaid. Overplayed and undervalued, and I meant that obviously from a personal and body-wise, looking after the players. It's just not done at Tottenham Hotspur. It's just not done. You can clearly see it. players come back, they get injured. Players, it's happening in clusters as well, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
not just match. It's not match. It's happening on the training pitch as well.
non-stop,
It's
mate.
a massive issue.
Non-stop.
It's just another thing that is just going wrong at Tottenham Hotspur right now.
Yeah, and it's obviously something we don't need with the games coming up. You know, these games are massive now. These next 7 games are actually massive. You look at the 2 league games, right?
He's still
Everton,
be out the cup, isn't he? If it's 6 weeks.
if it's 6 weeks, yeah, he'll be out the cup game. So if it's these 2 league games, right? Everton, if they win, if they beat us tomorrow, they go 4 points behind us with the game in hand. Yes, that game in hand is against Liverpool, but you know, you never know what happens in the Premier
Yep.
League. Moyes first Merseyside derby, it's at home as well, and you know Liverpool do rarely win at Goodison Park, so
Yep.
you never know what can happen. So that's 4 points if they beat us tomorrow. Then in the next league game we play Leicester, and Leicester are another team that could. I know they've lost their last 5-6 games, but they're below us, and we can't afford to lose any ground to the teams below us in the situation that we're in. We've got 2 important European games against Hoffenheim and Elfsborg, where we're busting a nut to try and get into that top 8 and
Yep.
alleviate 2 games that are coming in February. And then on top of that, you've got the semi-final second leg. Need I say more? And you've got the FA Cup game away at Villa. So these
Yep.
next 7 games are really going to shape what the second half of the season is really going to look like.
I mean, but right. 2 questions for you. First of all, has this changed your score prediction for Everton tomorrow? And the second question, with these games coming up, is it more important for yourself, or you feel Tottenham, that the Premier League now has got to be where he rotates and full strength, both European games and both cup games?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I don't even know what rotation even looks like. I don't know what players we have available
True,
to even rotate
true.
anymore. So I don't even know what that looks like, to be honest. It depends about what players we can recover, what players are fit enough to get on the pitch, and what players we can afford to give respite to. I think it all depends on looking at the sports science and seeing what players are not in the red zone and basically play them. Players that are fit enough to play have got to play, in my opinion, and there's not many of them. So I think right now, in the short term future, in the next 3 or 4 games, I think we're between a rock and a hard place. I don't think
Yep.
we have much options for rotating. In terms of, does it affect my scoreline prediction tomorrow? I mean, I didn't predict the win anyway. I predicted
Same here.
1-1. I
I predict
predicted
2 too.
1-1. And even without Solanke, I do think we can nick a 1-1. Everton just can't score a goal for love nor money. Dominic Calvert-Lewin hasn't scored in 16 games, but you know that's coming tomorrow. But look, I think we can get away with there with a point. I'm still being my deluded self. I'll wake up tomorrow believing that we'll win. But
Yep.
yeah, it hasn't changed my score prediction. Has it changed yours?
I was a draw. I went for a 2-2 draw, and I actually had Solanke to score a brace like Richarlison did last year. So it's affected my goal scorer. That's for damn sure.
But you know,
I might.
Richarlison's going to be chomping at the bit tomorrow.
Oh, he always is. And I have to say, and I don't think we spoke about it. I think when he came on Wednesday, he looked so fresh and so bright. That pass he played was exceptional. So it's always good to have him. And when he's in that kind of mood, he can be a brilliant player. But the problem always is he going to be able to stay fit? And we need him badly. So he has a habit of scoring against Everton. So I'll change it for another Richarlison brace.
Well, anyway, that is the news. Dom Solanke has picked up a knee injury. We don't have the confirmed time frame, but the original report did say 6 weeks. But take that with a pinch of salt, and hopefully we'll get some news over the next 24 hours, and we'll bring that to you. But I just want to end the video on some positive news for today. And Fabrizio Romano did break today that former Tottenham player Dele Alli has signed a contract with Serie A side Como. So it's going to be and he's going to be playing under Cesc Fabregas, who's their manager. So yeah, great work from Cesc to take him on, and I really hope that he can kind of kickstart his career again now.
Yeah, I really do. I mean, I was hoping he'd be seen more in Everton this season, but obviously that hasn't materialised for whatever reason. And you know what? Good for him. That man needs his career revitalised. He needs to play some football. He's had this time to come back stronger and feel better in himself. And I wish him nothing but the very best. And I hope he can get back to the heights of what he set, because he did give us some incredible moments, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that man. I love Dele Alli. I love what he brought to the football club. It was sad to see the way it went for him because
Yep.
you know he at such a young age he had literally the world at his feet. There's
He
no,
really,
I don't remember a player of that age in that position having that much of an impact. 18 goals from midfield. I know he's a bit of a second striker in midfield as well, but I mean the guy was incredible. Such talent. So I just
yep,
hope that if even if he just gets half of what he showed at Tottenham back in Serie A for
yep.
Como, he can have a second stab at a career. That's for sure.
Most certainly, most certainly. Listen, when you think about Delhi, the moments, the winning headers against Chelsea, the Crystal Palace goal, that curler against, you could go on for ages. The nutmegs, the
The lob
guy was
against
a highlight
Arsenal.
reel. He was an absolute highlight reel. And you know what? He was in love with his football, and in love with the club. And when he was happy and had a smile on his face, that he was an incredible footballer at such a young age. And like you said, let's just hope we can get half. If we can get anywhere to half and up, he'll be back. And most important thing is that he lives his life, has a smile on his face, and we wish him nothing but the very best.
Absolutely. But that is all we have for you guys today. Brian, thank you so much for joining the Tottenham emergency. We are Tottenham TV emergency meeting tonight.
Always.
We're at 10:45 of recording, but we'll see you. I'm back on the watch along tomorrow. So come and join me at 1:45 and see this guy on the fan show as well. So like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you
Come
Spurs.
on, you Spurs.